All right, cool. So yeah, so this is more of like a state of the union kind of thing. And my goal is to basically cut through the crap. If any of you have followed me for any amount of time, that's kind of my MO. Is I am very blunt. I am very, black and white. And I like to just cut through the crap and just say, here's what's working. Here's what's not. Here's what is not working. Again, some of these are my opinions. So you can take them as expert opinions, or you can just use your own. I don't care. Let's go back. I wanted to start this before we jump into what's happening today. I've been doing this for 7 years now. And, my background, I started in the practice. I started in the clinic. I was operating at one time, 13 different clinics. And we've seen a lot of really cool things come and go. I remember when stem cell marketing, injections became really hot on, in chiropractic clinics and clinics that were integrating and all that kind of stuff.
All right, I got them.
Yeah. And that used to be like the thing that was like so easy. I mean, it was lay downs. It was easy, right? Pre-pandemic, event marketing was a huge part of my agency, meaning doing dinner workshops and bringing people in for these different things. We would fill rooms and people would just crush it, right? And the marketing platforms, whether it was Google, Facebook, they had a lot. That was pre-Cambridge Analytica and some of these different challenges. There's been a lot of changes that have happened in the last 2 years. Okay. And so while some things have absolutely changed, what's really interesting is some things are now reemerging. Okay. And a lot of people don't quite see that. And the people who do are going to make a ton of money in the next 3 to 6 months. It's going to be pretty cool. So I want to just start off. And again, if you're just tuning in, let me just recap real quick. This is an informal meetup. Okay. I didn't present as I have an outline that I'm following, but I am not going to be presenting slides. I am not here to give you a sales pitch. I'm here to deliver information, deliver value, whether you're a patient stream user or not, just because that's how we'd like to do business here. Okay. That's what we do. That's kind of our mission here. So I'm going to go through the current state. A lot of the questions that I get asked when I do demo calls, when we bring on new users to patient stream, a lot of times they'll have a bunch of different questions. So I'm going to address some of those now because everybody seems to be asking a series of similar questions and give you guys kind of the straight skinny on what's going on. All right. So number one is a lot of people ask me about TikTok ads. A lot of people are asking me about TikTok ads. All right. If you run a chiropractic clinic, TikTok ads may work just fine for you. Okay. If you're doing anything specialized, decompression, neuropathy, knee stuff, all that, it is a huge waste of money. The platform is not designed and is the actual algorithm, all that kind of stuff right now, as of May 2nd, 2022. If you're watching this in the future, it's not designed. It's not working for that. Straight chiropractic, you can get a bunch of leads. The lead quality will be horrible. It will be horrible, but straight chiropractic, you're not going to get a bunch of great lead quality for that anyway. So that's just that. So that's my 2 bits on TikTok. Feel free to dip your toe into the water or not. What I see is a lot of people who are, a lot of people who chase shiny objects within their service pool, jump over to these new platforms because they're the shiny new toy, not because they can't have any type of proven model that they can say, yeah, this will get you a result, right? So just bear that in mind. That's me. Pay per show. I get asked about pay per show all the time. First of all, let me just, for those of you who maybe don't understand what pay per show is, what I'm even talking about, let me just outline that for you. So there's a new model where docs will pay a huge setup fee. So usually the average is about $5,000. So you pay $5,000 to set up, okay, your process, your agency, all that kind of stuff, right? So $5,000 is what they charge to set you up. And then what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, we only make money when people show up to your practice. It sounds like a good deal. I mean, like, it's okay. I pay $5,000 once, and then I'm only paying when people show up. that's true and that's not true. Okay. There's two things that you need to know. Number one, you still pay the ad spend. Okay. The ad dollar. So if you're getting leads for $10 or $100, it does not matter. So you still pay the ad cost. Okay. And the incentives, by the way, that means that the incentives are not aligned necessarily in your favor because they don't have to watch your ad spend. That's number one. Number two is the back end, what's actually doing the work. When they talk about prepaid appointments, those appointments are not made by people. They're made by bots, by text and all that kind of stuff. And there's some pretty decent, I'll be honest with you, there's some pretty decent chat bots out there right now. But the problem is everybody thinks that a chat bot is a replacement for a person. That's not how it works. Okay. If you have a chiropractic clinic, you'll probably get some people in the door. Financially speaking, unless your case values are really good, financially, you're going to have a hard time doing it. All right. If you are trying to do that same thing in the niches, good luck. That's all I'll say. Good luck. Okay. It's a great sales pitch, but the shine is wearing from that model as more and more people, realize over 2-3 months, well, geez, my ad costs and all the stuff that I'm putting into this really is quite a bit more. And what we're dealing with in the practice doesn't seem great. This is anecdotal. We don't do the pay per model show. Patient Stream built a different tool to do this. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but just from people who transition over, and we get a lot of people who transition over from that model because it sounds rad. This is what we're hearing. And this is what I've been able to glean. And this is, again, anecdotal. Okay. And I have in my notes here, the divide between practices is getting pretty damn wide. It is getting wider and wider and wider. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, like why that's happening. Okay. And then you got to be online. Can't fight it anymore. It's 2022. You got to be online. You got to have a good website. Okay. We don't build websites, but you got to have a good one. Okay. You got to get your reviews. If you got 5-10 reviews, you got to get more reviews. You have to get, you can't ignore this anymore. All right. The signs that you have on your building and the location you have, all that kind of stuff, that used to be the way that this was done. You have got to have a very comprehensive, online strategy. You gotta. Okay. You can't afford not to do that in 2022. And there's a big reason why. And we're going to get to that too. But let's just say, when I talk about the divide between practices is getting very wide, there's some practices that are getting all of the patients. And I can see it. I can see it. I can objectively observe what's happening. And they are the practices that are putting in a small amount, not a lot, a small amount of consistent weekly effort to do these online things. Now I know, and let's make sure that we cover any questions. I want you to understand this is not complicated. This is not complicated. We don't have to make it complicated. Okay. But you should understand that the way your website looks, what's on your website, the reviews you have, and the way you're getting your reviews. Be so careful about how you're getting your reviews. In fact, I need to add that onto this. I need to make sure that I didn't put that in here, but now then, review gating. We'll talk about review gating. It's not the appropriate time to do it right now, but just won't put that on here so I don't forget it. So this is all important. All right. So my next, I have the rest of this meeting broken out into through 3 parts. 4 parts rather. Is the divide? Okay, I'll talk that here in just a second. Let's see here. What to watch for, what to do in your marketing. Okay, we're going to talk about that, what's actually working, why it's working, what to do next. Talk about that, and then what to watch for in your practice. This is interesting, and especially with a potential recession looming. And then what are top practices right now, what they are doing. Okay. And we're watching what they're doing. We're taking feedback, and we're really making sure that Again, this information comes to you whether you're here live or you signed up, and we'll get you on a replay. All right. So what to watch for in your marketing. So I talked about like what has changed in the platforms. Okay. So targeting people by interest, behavior, all that kind of stuff. That was a sales pitch that a lot of people got back, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Well, the reality is that was never the way to do it. It's a great sales pitch, but it's the wrong way to do it anyway. With that said, all of that crap has been removed for the most part. Like the really sizzly ones, can't even do them anymore. Now, that might seem like a bad thing, but the reality is that is an incredibly, incredibly good thing for you. And I'll explain why here in a second. Okay. The idea that you can use a platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or any of these, and target the exact person with a piece of technology is a magician's trick. So let me ask you this, and this can be rhetorical. You can answer it in the chat if you want to. If we rewind the clocks 30 years ago, how did advertising work? What made a newspaper ad work? Two things. Demographics. I'm not going to take demographics out of the picture. Every news channel, every paper, every radio station has a target demographic. That is important. Okay. That's number one. But number two, and the most important thing, and this is why this is really good news for you, is sound advertising, understanding, and principles. Okay. The words, the images, the things that are being offered on your ads cannot be, 10% of the equation. They need to be 80, 90% of the equation. Now, this has been lost. This is a lost art in online marketing. So many people have focused on these technical tricks, things like that. And it has taken them away from what actually works. And if you've been on any of my trainings, you're on a webinar of mine, you've heard the story about our case study that Facebook published on us. It's interesting that one of the things that we got from that case study was just sound, like a return to sound advertising principles. While everybody else was talking about, remarketing, retargeting, that's BS, by the way. While they're talking about doing videos and then this and all that kind of stuff, we're just writing good ads. And then Facebook comes on, they're like, this is how advertising is supposed to be on our platform. That's validated. That's from a rep that's published on their business page. Okay. So we have that, and that was 2018. We have built from that time forward a library of sound advertising campaigns. That's why that's good news for you. If you're a PageStream user, you have access to over 100 campaigns that you can use right now. If you're not, if you guys need to join so you can have access to that. Okay. So that's number one. All right. So while in your marketing, while it may seem that some of these platforms are changing and this and that is happening, well, really what that is doing is pushing people towards sound advertising principles. And here's why that's really good news for you. Have you ever wondered why some of your quote, people say lead quality was so crappy? Think about it. Have you ever thought, man, it seems like if I were to divide this pie up, I get 10% of good people, maybe that's being generous, 10% of good people, and then 90% of tire kickers, right? Why do you think that is? It is not the type of targeting that is going to deliver a solid idea and a solution-based, solution, an offer to a person. And so when we reverse that, and all of our advertising speaks to the person, okay, all of our effort is designed to do that. Well, all of a sudden, if you're a person struggling with neuropathy, looking for new solutions, are tired of whatever, then that's going to speak to a very specific and qualified person. That's what the qualified lead formula is all about. Again, too much to cover in one thing, but if you've seen my webinars, you know what the qualified lead formula is. All right. This is why this is good. This is great news for you. It's bad news for other service providers that are focusing on like the technical side of things and not the foundational principle, marketing principles. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. So let me just break down a couple things on, to piggyback on that statement there. Stay niche so you can stay qualified. Stay niche. So we're not talking about low back pain. Low back pain is not a condition. We're talking about sciatica. Okay, we're talking about bulging herniated disc. We're not talking about joint pain, because how many joints do you have in your body? I got a lot of them. I'm talking about knee pain. That's one joint. That's one message. Stay niche, stay specialized. Okay. If you say somebody with joint pain, and here I am walking around with knee pain, and all your shoulder people, listen, you got to stay niche. Okay. You got to stay niche. Call out the people, right? If you do that, at least you're starting out with a qualified audience. That's number one. Okay. The next thing on my line, I put it 3 times. Devices, devices, devices. If you are practicing 2 miles or 1 mile for you, let's say we'll just stay with the knee thing, right? If you offer knee services and you're like, hey, I offer PT, manual therapy, like whatever it is, like we can deliver good results with people with knee pain. And the clinic down the road is doing knee decompression, shockwave. You're going to lose over and over and over and over and over again. Not only are you going to lose sales to them, but you're going to lose in your advertising game. There are a couple of devices that, depending on what your specialty is, as far as the niche services that you're bringing in, that will make you money both in practice as well as advertising. Spinal decompression, knee decompression, shockwave therapy, laser. Those are the big 4. Okay. These seem to me like whenever I went to Parker a couple of years ago, and it was funny because all of the device booths were always full. They were always full. People love to look at those devices. And so as a practitioner, as a person who helps people, you like what that technology does to treat people. I like what that technology does to find people. Okay. So this is why like devices, I think it's such an important thing, right? I just had a call yesterday with a brand new doc. He's been with Patient Stream for 1 week. So 1 week. In the last week, he ran our Softwave, what was he doing? Either knee or back. I can't remember which one. Got 22 leads, 7 appointments in his first week. I'm like, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's 1 week. So he's got all those other people that will get scheduled throughout the rest of the month. But the point is, and the lead cost is something like $17. He turned it on himself. He's not using an agency. He just turned it on himself. And he said, so what do I do? What do I do if I want to do neuropathy? I'm like, his name is Sinan. I'm like, Sinan, just turn on the neuropathy one. We turned on the first one for him. So he's a little bit, everybody, when they're trying something new, they're always a little hesitant. No, just turn on the neuropathy one. Do the exact same thing it is. 3 clicks, bop, 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 done. Okay. And he goes, okay. So, but a lot of those niche services, you're going to win them by having the proper, like the actual, like the devices. And so if you have questions about devices, we can answer that in the Q&A. I'm not an expert on devices. I don't get any commissions by selling them, even though I should, because there's some of them that I refer over and over again. I really like them. And shouldn't I get some money? Don't you guys? No, just kidding. All right. And then, the patient stream model the patient stream model is the wave of the future. Okay. We've got some people on that are already using it. So whatever. The patient stream model is the model of the future because it only uses proven creative. Those ads, those things are proven to work. Okay. You're not going to walk around guessing on what works. Okay. 2, the service that an agency provides is replaced by a piece of software we built that's so easy to use. As long as you can choose what condition you want and how much you're willing to spend, it's button clicking. That I taught my 10-year-old daughter how to do in less than a minute. Okay. So you can do it. That's the model of the future. The reason I'm putting some emphasis on that is it doesn't mean that's the only thing you're going to do to fill your practice with patients. Okay. But that is a product that we built so you can. The service that we provide on the back end can help out in other ways. So we'll talk about that here in a minute, but it's really important that as you look for your marketing, okay, when you're looking at your marketing in the next 3 to 6 months, understand, okay, I can choose an agency to do this. They're going to provide me a service, but you're really the person who's babysitting the agency anyway. So you can babysit them and pay them 4 times as much, or you can turn on Patient Stream and you don't even need to babysit. You just look at it. You'd be like, oh, cool. It's doing its thing. If it's not, I turn the next one on. Boom. Oh, cool. It's doing its thing. Easy. All right. I made a note here. Now, this is a little bit out of the flow of the outline because it goes up to the reviews. We talked about the online presence. Does everybody know? No, nobody knows this. Review gating. If you don't know what review gating, you need to know what review gating is right now today. Okay. Their policy, Google's policy has changed recently within the last couple of months. So here's what review gating is. And you can Google this, by the way. Don't take my word for it. Just review or just Google review gating. Review gating is when you send out, like you use automation to send out a review request. And the initial response is not on Google's platform, meaning it's not on Google. It's a landing page. It's a question that says, how is your experience at our practice? And if you click a 4 or 5 star, it will redirect you then to Google. If you click a 3 or below, it will send you back to the clinic and say, oh, somebody's going to reach out to you to help you out. That is review gating. You cannot do that. Here is why. If you get caught, your Google reviews, your Google My Business listing, all that will be delisted from their platform. So all that money you spent getting the 100, 200 reviews, all that time, every person that competes against you that has reviews, you will now lose everything. And getting it back, good luck. Okay? Don't do it. It's not worth it. If you're doing it today, turn it off today. I'm not kidding. If I said online business is everything, it is everything. You got to have a good online presence. If you want to get reviews, just do it the way you would do it as a person. If somebody comes in, they have a good experience, say, hey, one of the best ways that we grow our business is by, growing our online presence with good reviews. Would you be willing to provide an honest review if I sent you a review link? Just ask the question and don't say, would you give us a good review? Say, would you give us an honest review? Just do that. Okay? That's how you're supposed to do it. And then you can use Patient Stream to click the button and it will then send them a proper review request, but we don't gate. Patient Stream, our software, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a way within Patient Stream to click, I think it's at the top left-hand corner, it says request review. You can click that button, put in the person's name, and it will send them a review request. Do not automate it. Just do what I said. Just have a script. When somebody has a good experience at your practice, say, hey, Sally, it's been great having you. Would you be willing to offer an honest review for our clinic? Yeah, sure. Great. Can I just text it to you? Here it is. Boom. Front desk sends it out. Did you get it, Sally? I did. All right. Thanks, Sally. See you later. That's what you do. You do that consistently every single week. And over the next 3-4 months, boom, you're going to have 150 reviews. Okay. That's the right way to do it. Please don't try and automate it. You're going to screw yourselves. All right. I'm going to get into what to watch here in your practice. And when I was going through this outline and I was identifying what to watch, this is both timely things as well and just overall red flags. All right. And Patient Stream has over 20 niches, so I won't be able to go over all of them. I'm going to go over what I call the big 3, which is neuropathy, knee pain, and spinal decompression. If you have questions on any of the other ones, we can answer those in the chat. So what to watch in your practice. Number 1, your average case values. I know this is a challenging thing for some people. Here's why. you don't know where you should be many times. At least the people that ask me those questions, the people that I'm working with in Patient Stream, some of them have a really good grasp and guidance and control of what they're getting on their case values. And some of them are way, way, way undershooting where they should be on case values. Okay. In fact, with those in attendance, I would ask to, and you can, so there's a way you can send the message just to me. You don't have to send it to everybody, or you can, I don't care. Spinal decompression, neuropathy, and knee pain. I'm going to throw out what those average case values. Would you mind putting those in the chat? And again, send it to me directly. Tell me where you're at. This is important. If you're watching this now, if you're watching this in replay, this is important that you have at least a threshold of where you need to be, because I don't care what you're doing. If you're doing marketing campaigns and you're making $500 on a patient, you're never going to win. It's not going to work for you. Okay. One of the reasons that Patient Stream niches into these, like, is really heavy, I should say, on the niches. We have chiropractic stuff too, but one of the things that, and it's good, by the way, one of the reasons that we go into these niches is because the case values are going to get you a quick return on your money. Right? I don't want to wait. I don't want to see you wait 6 or 7 months to get those. All right. I'm getting, okay. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you. All right. So here is what we'll start with spinal decompression. Okay. At a minimum, when we're looking at spinal decompression, okay, a minimum, like, bottom, like I'm talking about, this is where you need to hit, is like $2,500 on a spinal decompression case. Okay. Most of our clinics are $3,500 to $5,000. Right. This is anecdotal. I don't have the luxury of like doing what we're doing now, where I'm getting people to tell me what their case values are. So thank you for that. So that's important to understand. So if you're doing spinal decompression, if you're not hitting $25 or $2,500, I'll have some resources for you at the end of this, but we need, let's get you the help you need. And it's not help with me, because I don't run your practices. I don't know what I'm doing, but I have people that can help. Okay. So that's number one. That was decompression. Neuropathy. Actually, I'm going to do, neuropathy's been interesting lately. I'm going to do knee pain. Knee pain, we have kind of like these different categories. Okay. In fact, I asked a couple of docs to send me over some care plans, like actual care plans. And so there is a bit of a divide there, but I generally say in knee cases, we're like $4,000 to $6,000. Okay. $4,000 to $6,000. Now I just saw one, it's not uncommon to see them well above that, but much below that, you're almost in a way, diminishing the value of those cases. Okay. So understand that. Okay. Neuropathy is very interesting. I used to say, and I'm still going to say this, because when it comes to neuropathy, I think there's a wide spectrum of people, but neuropathy was a case value where I used to say about $3,500 to $5,000 was about the range. We have seen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know enough about these practices to know anything, but we have seen in the last 6 months, almost a doubling of that case value. I don't have any like footing on that, but it's been very interesting. In fact, it's been very interesting. Here's the point. I give you some of these thresholds to make sure that at a minimum on the low side, you're getting to those numbers. On the high side, we got a guy that charges like 16 to 20 grand for spinal decompression, but there's like one person that does that. So I'm not trying to put anybody in the category where that's where they should be, but you do definitely need to make sure that your case values, that you have those under control. Let's see here. I'm just looking at this. See if there's anything else. All right. I'm going to answer some of these questions because they're not part of what we're doing right now later. All right. So that's the average case values. I lead with that because I need you to watch that in your practice. Care plans versus per visit. This is not my position to be sitting here, but I will tell you from the standpoint of a person who is, I hate to say an expert in sales. I'll just say I'm an expert in sales. Okay. From a person that is an expert in sales and conveying the belief of one thing to another person, I can tell you right now, when you ask somebody to pay per visit, you're actually telling them that your thing doesn't work. Okay? That's what you're telling them. Here's why. When you present them a care plan and the care plan says, you know, it's going to be $4,500 and this is what it includes, blah, 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 and volume, quantity, all that kind of stuff. You know what that person thinks when they see that, what they assume? They assume that that dollar amount means the end of their condition, means the resolution, the solving of the problem. Okay. When you say it's X amount of dollars per visit, they think I'm going to be coming in for the rest of my life, getting whatever treatment, and it's never going to end. If you don't use care plans, you're hurting the people that you're trying to treat psychologically. Use care plans. You'll make more money. They'll be happier. And trust me, it just works out better. All right. Any questions on that? Maybe even just stopping right there on that one thing, because that seems to be kind of like a almost like an ethical divide between people. Some people, oh, I wouldn't do that. It's unethical to not sell, in my opinion. It's unethical to sell people per visit. That's what I think. And you can agree with that or not. All right. Cash, insurance, and lessons from a recession. You need to be skilled at collecting cash, but you also need to be skilled at playing the game of insurance. And I know this because I started during a recession into this space, well, on the heels of a recession. And the practice owner that I worked with started his practice during a recession. And the importance, if you pay per visit and you're all cash, buckle up. It's going to get rough. Okay. But the game is not that hard to play. If you talk to the right people, we had a really cool meeting a week or two ago. And we're going to be doing more of those, because I understand that on my end, if I can get a bunch of people in the door, then that's great. But if I can keep them, if I can help you like make more money, then you'll stay. If your practice isn't making money, I'm not always the problem why that's happening. Okay. Meaning your marketing isn't always the reason why. Sometimes it's other things. So I want to make sure that we can solve more problems. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on cash and insurance, other than the juice is worth the squeeze. I know a lot of you hate insurance, but when you combine cash and insurance and care plans, holy smokes, watch your income go way up. We see it time and time and time again. And the reason I say that is a lot of times when people come into Patient Stream, they'll hop on a call with me and I'll do a rundown. I'll see, because again, I started in the practice, and I'll find out these things and I'll be like, hey, you might want to talk to this person. You might, there's a bunch of, whether it's Blueprint to Practice Automation, I love those guys. They do an awesome job. Whether it's Dr. Sunny Gill, he's a consultant physician for Patient Stream. Talk to somebody, figure it out, right? It's not as hard as you think it is. All right. My last and final thing that I have on my notes here is what I'm calling the big opportunity. All right. Now, this is something that most of you are likely not seeing because the pandemic removed it from the equation. Okay. Prior to the pandemic, my then agency, so Patient Stream's not an agency, Patient Stream is a product, right? But my agency before was called 25th West. And we did a ton of event marketing, dinner workshops, right? We just did a ton of them. Okay. It was about 80% of our practice, or of our business. And obviously the pandemic removed that for obvious reasons. But why was it 80%? Here's why. There are variables that happen between the lead, the marketing, and then the person showing up in your practice. There's variables. There's a big gap between you getting a lead and you getting a patient. Okay. With event marketing, I can almost close that gap because I can get them to the event. And then based on your skill set and all that kind of stuff, you can get them in the practice. They're in front of you. Like, we're getting you very close to the sale. I also like it because it puts like a deadline. It puts a very like finite time on your results. Like, this is not a thing, again, we have to do in perpetuity. Like, we're doing this event. It's on the 8th. This is what we're going to do. Okay. So all the team, they're all kind of geared up. They all know what's going on. And there's a finish line. Because of that, we had really good results for a very long time doing event marketing. Well, the pandemic removed that almost entirely. That hasn't been a thing. A lot of doctors wanted to go virtual, wanted to do phone crap. That didn't work, doesn't work. But here we are. What's old is new again. Event marketing is on a surge. And when I say a surge, event marketing is on a surge. Okay. It's very quietly building in the background. All right. But Patient Stream is, because of our background as an agency, we are starting to offer those services as well. In fact, yesterday we launched our first automated event marketing workshop, and this one is for spinal decompression. Okay. That will be next week on the 8th. We're going to go through a couple more things, and then we'll be announcing that to our users as another service that they can get through Patient Stream event marketing. Okay. Now we're going to roll it out a little bit different than our DIY marketing. Our DIY marketing, you click the button, boom, the ads go, you get leads, they come in. All right. This one is going to be a little bit different, where we'll do the same thing, but we are likely going to offer this as all-in-one sale, meaning we're going to do all of it for you, meaning we're going to get the butts in the seats. We have a skill set and a team to get the butts in the seats, and then we'll charge by the event, and we'll do it in a way to where we remove your risk. Like, if we suck, then we're not going to get paid. Right. So that's what we're coming up with now. But I can tell you this right now. We've got this one today. We have one of our consulting physicians has been doing these for the past several months and absolutely crushing it. I'm talking about stuff that doesn't make sense. And it makes sense from a perspective of people have been cooped up, not able to do these types of events for 2 years. And so what's old is new again. Event marketing is coming back, and it's going to be a big part of, it's going to be an additional service available to Patient Stream users. We're very excited about it. And I think it's going to make people in the next 3 to 6 months, the people that go big on event marketing, in addition to everything else they're doing. I'm not saying you wipe all the stuff off the table. In addition to that, are going to really, really reap some serious rewards. All right. So I got some questions here. I'm actually, while we're doing that though, I'm going to put a link into the chat. Okay. So this link is if you want additional help, if you have additional questions, if you want one-on-one time with me, with my team, whatever the case may be, on anything we've talked about today, that is a questionnaire that you can go through, submit your information. It'll come to me, and we'll schedule the next appropriate steps. If you're interested in event marketing, whatever it is, like, that's what that is designed to do. So you can go ahead and click on that link, open it up in another tab, but let's not have anybody leave just yet. I'm going to go ahead and go back through the questions. This is the Q&A section of this. So as I'm going back through these questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask whatever questions you have. Okay. Is the divide being online and reviews only? The divide, that was a question from Steve. Thank you, Steve. The divide is an aggregation of everything. One, understanding your online and your reviews. People, when they see your ads, they're going to check you out. 70%. Studies show 70%. So that means, hey, I opt in for whatever lead campaign you're doing through Patient Stream, for example. And I'm like, oh, well, this is XYZ clinic. They're going to Google you. And if they Google you and you look like a crap, you don't look good, it's not going to be good for you. Okay. So it's an aggregation between the two things. When I talk about the divide, I am talking also about financial divide. I am always blown away by how many clinics are stuck in, and I don't know where it came from, but this model where their case values are like really low, and they're doing all of them have several things in common. One, it's per visits. Like, it's per visit every single time. Okay, that's number one. Two, they usually have a pretty crappy online presence, like not a lot of reviews. They've been around for a long time, not good. Okay, these are the people that hit these glass ceilings of, hey, I can always make enough just to get by. Like I can pay my overhead and I can make enough to get by, but something's missing. Well, I can tell you what's missing. Well, number one, care plans. Okay. Number two, asking for reviews. And number three, having a plan, right? Having some kind of plan. And the reality is sometimes you need help. You need somebody that has done it before. You need somebody that can show you the way, somebody that can like make you feel like, hey, I'm not going to muck this up and I'm not doing this for nothing. Okay. So the big divide, I just can't believe how many clinics. I talked to a guy signed up for Patient Stream 2 weeks ago. He's making 300 grand a month in his practice, almost exclusive in neuropathy and spinal decompression, I think. Okay. Crushing it. And then I talked to a guy the next day who was making about $600 per spinal decompression case. Been in the business a lot longer. So, you know, those are some of the divides that happen. If that's you, grab the questionnaire. I'll put you in touch with somebody that can help you fix that. All right. Let's see here. Have an opportunity to buy a pre-approved Chattanooga spinal decompression table for $7K. Should I get it or should I stick with focusing on these? So this question is about whether or not, well, first of all, I mean, I don't know exactly. I can tell you our number one performer out of all of them is actually spinal decompression. That's the number one, right? Out of all the stuff. So if you were like, hey, I'm starting fresh, I'm starting new, what's my most surefire bet? Is it neurofeedback or is it spinal decompression? Well, objectively, it's spinal decompression. That's what I can tell you. I can't, you know, tell you how to run your practice other than that. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. What therapies are being used in neuropathy cases? You know, as far as treatment and protocol, I probably not, there's a lot of them. Here's what I'll say. There's programs that have their proprietary models. There's things like that. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do, I'm not a doctor. So don't listen to me. In fact, delete anything I'm about to say in your brain because I probably know jack crap about anything. But here's what I know. I think I know. One, the extremities need some type of angiogenesis. Okay, whether you do that through shockwave therapy, whether you do that through cold or whatever laser, whatever you're doing, you have to initiate angiogenesis. All right, so that's number one. Number two is it's not enough just to like start the mobility in that angiogenesis. It's not enough to do that. You got to like put some nutrients back in. So our people are using some type of modality in therapy, and then they're using some type of nutrition in addition to that. That's what, you know, that's what's kind of making, I guess that's kind of like the steroids to the workout, I guess you might say. And then, you know, nerve interference, you know, adjustments, manual therapies, like whatever these are the building blocks. Other than that, talk to a person, like talk to one of these people on here. I'm not a doctor. Talk to one of these people on here or fill out the form and talk to our consulting physician. He can answer questions or check out Blueprint to Practice Automation. Those guys kick ass on that condition specifically. I mean, their average case value, if you're a Blueprint person, your average case value on neuropathy is $6,500. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. They've got that thing dialed in. Awesome. Okay. All right. Those are all the chat questions that I have currently. So you can either unmute yourself, ask any questions I have. Oh, actually, we're a little bit over, but that's fine. I've been talking a lot. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. If you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask whatever questions you want. If you want to put them in the chat, do that. If you need more help, grab the link that I just sent to everyone, grab that, fill out the questionnaire, and I'll reach out to you. Any questions? Good. You're good. All right. Steve, been helpful? One second. Oh, you're on mute.
Jeez. All right. Can you hear me now?
I got you, buddy.
Yeah. There's a big opportunity about doing the events. I had the feeling, even though I'm in New York, people are fed up. They want to get out. So,
Yes.
you know,
It's funny because I've been approached to do them several times. And then when one of these docs that has been doing them told me what he's flying around the country doing them. When he told me what he was doing, I was just like, geez, all right, I guess we ought to hey team, let's get back in the game. And so we jumped to, and yeah, it's a huge opportunity. And you know, event marketing, dinner workshops, that kind of thing. It's going to be, it's an opportunity, and nobody's talking about it right now. Nobody's talking about it, which means you should be doing it, right? You should be doing it ASAP.
I got one more question. When you said devices,
Yes.
that's spinal decompression, that's shock wave, that's class 4 laser, knee decompression. That's what you mean by devices.
Those are the top 4. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's other devices out there. But at the end of the day, one of the things, that qualified lead formula that I referred to, there's 3 parts to it. And then one of the parts is something we call a unique modality or unique mechanism, right? And the unique mechanism is like when you talk to anybody with whatever problem it is, knee pain, whatever it is, they have a common solution. So if it's knee pain, it's like, oh, knee replacement surgery. That's their go-to. They're thinking about, well, I'm going to have my knee replaced. But when you show these devices and you say, for example, shockwave therapy, you say, you know, there was this cool therapy that was actually designed to destroy kidney stones, and they re-engineered it to take knee joints or shoulder joints and reconstitute and let the body heal itself. So you don't have to have knee surgery. We're talking about complete restoration in a lot of cases, not 100%, but a lot of cases. People are like, wow, you know, technology, why would it be exclusive to digital crap? You know, it's absolutely not. So yes, those are the big ones. I don't think one is better than another, only that when you work like Patient Stream, when we put things forward, it's a show me, don't tell me. Okay. So my ads, my things, they show what's happening. They don't tell what's happening, right? Because it doesn't work without that. All right. Good question, Steve. Any other questions, I should say. Nothing else. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. If you're watching the replay, the link where you can go to get some help will be in the description of this video below. But hopefully this has been helpful for everybody. Again, this is an informal meeting. This is meant to just deliver blunt, really good information. What I'm saying, we do webinars. I've got a webinar next week on the 8th that we'll be sending emails out for. If you're interested in learning more about the whole process and how everything at Patient Stream works, if you're new to it, whatever, you'll be invited to that as well. But if you also just want to see how it would work for you, use that link or just reach out to me, sam@mypatientstream.com, sam@mypatientstream.com. We'll go from there. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll see you later.